The war with France is over, and young Henry VI and Margaret are married, but many nobles are outraged at the terms of this union. Margaret is hardly an advantageous match for political purposes. She's brought no money or wealth with her to England, and as part of the marriage treaty, 2 provinces, Maine and Anjou, were given back to France. The various English lords who fought to conquer those provinces are not happy, and in general there is a lot of conflict in this court. York and Somerset are still wearing their combative roses, with York now quietly ambitious for the crown itself. Cardinal Beaufort, formerly known as the Bishop of Winchester, Suffolk, and Margaret are all jealous of the Lord Protector, the Duke of Gloucester, and his power over the king. Margaret is particularly jealous of the Duchess of Gloucester, with her wealth and pride, and in the middle of court, Margaret punches the Duchess in the face, pretending it's an accident, of course. The Duchess is livid, and wealthy and proud, and would very much like to be queen herself. Her husband is busy caring for the problems of the common people, such as adjudicating between an apprentice and his master over the treasonous claim that York should be king, or dealing with swindlers pretending miracles. I can see! You have always been able to see. Although Gloucester loves his wife, he shares none of her ambition for the throne. So she takes things into her own hands, and employs various conjurers and witches to help her use magic to gain the throne. Unfortunately, some of these magicians are also in the pay of Beaufort and Suffolk, and while she's conjuring spirits, York and Buckingham interrupt her magic and bring her into public disgrace. The Duchess of Gloucester is banished from England. Her husband is heartbroken, and Henry tells Gloucester that even though he was not to blame, England no longer needs a Lord Protector, that he must resign from his special role. Suffolk, Margaret, and Beaufort are glad about this downfall, but not satisfied, and Suffolk's men murder Gloucester. Warwick confronts Suffolk. The common people are rioting over Gloucester's death, and Henry is deeply grieved, shocked, and horrified. So, against Margaret's wishes, Suffolk is banished. The lovers share a tender farewell. Cardinal Beaufort confesses all his crimes before dying, and Suffolk's ship is captured by pirates, who behead him. When trouble breaks out in Ireland, York is sent to resolve that conflict, but while he's gone, York has also paid a man to stir up conflict in England, and to show the weakness of the current king. Jack Cade is not noble, isn't even educated, and begins what looks very much like a Marxist rebellion. The commoners are revolting against people with land, with titles, with money, even with people who have the capacity to read. What initially looks like a weird nuisance becomes more and more sinister as this crazed man gains more and more supporters, and the people become more and more violent under his leading. Finally, Clifford and Buckingham come and tell them to repent their treasons, and the king will forgive them. And all the people leave Cade. And then Cade tells them how the nobles and educated people take advantage of the poor, and they all run back to Cade. Finally, Clifford invokes the name of the beloved Henry V, and how distraught he would be to see his own kingdom in such uproar, and everyone leaves Cade. Cade is finally found by the Kentish gentleman Eden, and is killed in his garden. York returns from Ireland with his army, and using his power, tries to get Somerset out of his position. Henry tries to appease both sides, first sending Somerset to the Tower and then releasing him, but York is not pleased, and calls for his sons to come and help him, and announces his right not just for Somerset's removal, but to be king himself. The whole court divides, siding with the red rose of Henry and Somerset, or the white rose of York, until they come to actual combat. York kills Clifford, and his son, Richard, the future Richard III, kills Somerset. The king and his allies flee back to London, and the victorious York makes plans to follow and claim his crown.